What's up? What's up? What's up? This is In My Circle with Ralphie Rotten. How was everything? We got some different we got a few different topics tonight. Me and Ruben are going to talk about. We're going to talk about the economy, what's going on. We're going to talk about a little bit of politics, current events, just a normal, different type of show that, what's going on in society, why, there isn't jobs, why, Ruben, what is up? How's everything?
Okay.
All
right, welcome.
Everybody, this is Ruben.
Hello, everyone.
He is, my producer, and from time to time he jumps on and we have some, just some off-the-wall topics.
Ralph's got a gun right to my side, so I was kind of forced to go moving.
Put it there. Nah. No, we before we got on camera, we were talking about how the economy's doing and
right.
Why people, in 2020, everybody was home and the whole entire infrastructure was being dismantled. When you just stop a whole machine from working that's never stopped in its existence, for almost a year or two, the world stopped, just stopped moving. And you know how you could tell that the world stopped, just stopped all the electronic. You could go outside and you could look in the sky
and it was clear.
It was clear.
Even the waters overseas.
The waters
were clean.
The air was clear. You could, you can breathe. It was
on that. Do you think we should when they have we should have like a World Earth Week where we just take off for a whole week where the Earth can clean itself and then go back instead of 6 or so you're just like 1 week or a couple of days because it took it took a week for everything to clear up.
I don't think a week is good enough.
Maybe 2 weeks.
Remember we were shut down for months.
We're
a year and a half. A year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
But the mainstay was about a year.
Yeah.
Where we stayed home for almost a year. We got fed this multimedia nonsense that we had to stay home. We had to stay away from each other.
Oh yeah. Going out when I was doing the deliveries, the highway was like
there was nobody. There was nobody out.
I was able to drive like I was drunk and not hit anybody because there was maybe 5 cars on a highway for miles.
Well, I remember. It was the most eeriest of Easters I have ever experienced.
Yep.
Normal time, on the normal, we would have gone to New York, and I would have brought a bottle of bourbon up there to New York.
Right.
And the plans changed. We went down South Jersey. And driving on 295 was like, on a daily, if you drive 295 in New Jersey, that's a constant there's
constant traffic flow.
Let's just say if you just pulled over and took a dump in broad daylight, nine times out of 10
no one saw you.
No, somebody would see you on a normal day, right?
Oh, on a normal day. I'm sorry.
On a normal every day, somebody will see you. Not by the time you're done wiping or whatever. I'm just using that as an example. 20 and 30 people that have seen you already. On this day, you could pull over and you could have a party, and you would see nobody. It was like we were the only cars on the road. You would see maybe 1 or 2.
That's it.
It was the most eeriest of times I've ever experienced.
Even in the daytime, it was really eerie, and even doing stuff at night was the most eeriest because at least during the day, you saw maybe 15 or 20 cars and a couple of trucks, delivering and stuff like that to the restaurants. But at nighttime, man, it was like you can take a stone and throw it, you wouldn't hit nobody.
It was quiet. It was peaceful,
yeah.
And
I enjoyed it actually.
But the whole back to the infrastructure, the whole entire system just shut down.
Yeah, even in Venice, the water where they do the boats, the water was blue.
Oh yeah, it got clear.
Yeah.
But the whole entire infrastructure just shut down, and it's hard to, we'll go to 2020 where everything just shut down, and you fast forward to 2020, late 21, early 22, when everything just starting to get
back
back,
up.
kick back into
gear.
into
Full
gear, and everybody's hiring.
Exactly.
And they're like, "Oh my God, we're hiring, and this person's hired," and everybody's like everybody in America is getting
Yeah.
hyper and jumping up and down. Oh my God, we're going back to
Right,
work.
right.
We're going back to work.
Exactly.
And only half the United States were able to go back to work, and the rest are no jobs.
I want to tell you, not to digress too much off the topic, but kind of relatable. You know how they say like, oh, it's going to take thousands of years for the Earth to clean up. COVID was a prime example of how long it takes the Earth to restore itself.
The pandemic pretty much cleaned. Allowed us.
remember
What
how-
happened
a lot
was
of-
there was no trucks driving.
Right.
There was no
peace,
smog. There was no planes.
Yeah, so it just shows
You
you,
know-
that it doesn't take the Earth long
Yeah, it was.
to clean itself.
I think I seen clear skies, very clear skies, in about 3 months.
Oh yeah, even in China.
Well,
they
I
were
mean,
able
listen,
No,
I don't know.
I was
what
watching the
going
world
on.
news, and
I won't speak about China because I don't know. I wasn't there.
no, I was gonna say it was it was on the world news that because China and India are like one of the had the most polluted skies in the world, even versus America, and they were clear skies. Like they show mountains you couldn't see as far as because of the smog and everything. But since people weren't driving, everything was clear as day. When the sun came out and everything, you could see the blue.
I mean, you
ice
can
cap,
you
mountains
can
and
you can see they were beautiful. It was just
cleaner.
it was a different time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a different vibe.
Yeah.
When you went outside, you knew the air was clear, crisp. It
Yeah.
was,
And then
you
it
know,
smelled different too.
it smelled different. It was
Yeah.
just
Cleaner.
It was just you could just sense. It was just a different vibe.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to 2020.
No,
I mean, it was
I'm just saying that we should have like a week or two where the Earth should be able to rejuvenate
Never want to
itself.
go back to 2020 where you have your president talking about injecting Windex in your in your veins and having sunlight. It was bizarre. It was bizarre. I still think it was some of it was inflated. I'm not going to go into that deep. A lot of it was true. Fact. I think a lot of it was fact. A lot of it was BS.
Yeah.
I
I mean, we
think
know
it
a lot
was
about it now than we did before. I
yes,
admit
yes. We definitely
Yeah.
now we know is it's more
And that's
of a code.
that's the and that's
it's
the
a code.
code thing. Yeah, but
It's a harder code.
I mean, it's
then-
been around because even the Lysol cans, even before we had the pandemic, always said it kills coronavirus on the Lysol
I
van.
actually have a picture of a
And
crazy.
but I think what this was a stronger strand than we were able to contend with at the time.
well, I still think it was
Yeah.
genetically
Modified.
altered or modified in a
yeah.
lab to attack the human immune
Immune
system.
system.
A lot.
Well,
a lot worse. A lot more than.
I mean,
than
I could.
typical.
I was going to say this because I don't want to go off topic or anything like that because I want to switch over. But I remember watching the news just before the virus came out, and there was a big protest in China, and the police were spraying some type of something at them or something like that to get them off the streets. And next thing you know, once they ordered everybody in the houses because of the protest, I forgot what they were protesting about in China, but yeah,
I found an old can.
yeah.
Sorry, I yawned.
That's
I
right.
found an old can.
Kills HIV-1, AIDS.
I had found an old can of disinfectant from probably like the fucking 80s. And it says prevents mold and mildew on hard, non-porous surfaces. Germicidal, fungal, staphylogicus,
Simplifiers.
yeah, I don't even know. Tuberculosis, virusical, whatever. Deodorizer. I don't know what these.
The thing is, You know what gets me though? The AIDS one, because
Yes.
I mean,
That's the reason why I took a picture of it, because
Unless
it
there's
says
blood.
kills HIV
One.
AIDS virus, and it says influenza is
Influenza, okay.
herpes simplex, and 1 and 2 on environmental hard surfaces. So this probably did test it out that it can kill,
yeah,
but we don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows how old this is?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, HIV thing cases came out in the 80s.
So this is from the 80s. Look at that.
Oh, I thought it was Lysol, dual power disinfect. Oh, okay. The one I was talking about was Lysol. I actually had it on their can.
Only
That's cool, though.
because
That's a cool find, though.
yeah, I was obviously I didn't try it and spray anything, and I wouldn't have, like, where do I start? Like, how do I start? Back to the economy. The economy,
Yeah.
what's going on is, mad people.
There's
Where I left off is
the
half
job.
half the workforce is still looking for
Work.
jobs, struggling to pay bills, while everything around you,
It's going
prices are going up, gas is going up, cost of living is going up, everybody else's salary is going up. All your bills are going up, but your
Right.
pay doesn't go up. So how do you work around that? What do you do?
Yeah, well,
you
you
get
know-
another part-time job. Or how?
How?
And not
Right.
if everybody, there's not many people that are
Yeah.
hiring.
Well, if you no, and no point intended, but they say that and have a family of 4, mom, dad, 2 kids or something like that, you should be making around 300,000 to 400,000 a year.
Not even close.
I know. I'm saying you should be, because each kid takes about 80 grand a year, not including college tuition to properly take care of a kid. I mean,
Yeah, we're not
everybody.
paying college tuition yet.
Yeah, thank God, right?
No.
And plus, your daughter has good grades.
she's-
Very
well,
excellent
she's-
grades.
She's an honor roll student, so
Yes.
she's probably going to get a scholarship, full ride scholarship for free.
Amen to that,
And
right?
she's got to start applying like ASAP.
Yeah.
But
But
then I have my
it's-
son. My son may not get a full scholarship, so I might have to pay his ass to get to school if he wants to go to school.
Well,
he
give
might
him
be.
time.
He
He's
might
only
be.
5,
Listen,
right?
he may. I know.
Yeah.
He might be. He might want to become a gamer. He likes playing games. So he might want to play.
Well,
be a
I'm
gamer.
gonna tell you, believe it or not.
Get paid for playing games.
Oh yeah, you do. Also too, believe it or not, I was just watching this on a business network. I watch a lot of the business channels, and they're saying that there's a high demand for what do you call it? Not vocational, but you know what I mean. Trade jobs like plumbers, electricians,
Yeah, because
builders, and
a lot of them died. A lot of those people were on the front. Listen, during the pandemic, a lot of them people were on the front lines.
yeah,
Some of those people were the ones that were affected. So a lot of those people were some of the old heads. A lot of the people that were the ones who were training people, treating people. They were the when you cut. Listen, almost 2 million people are said to have died from coronavirus.
right.
If they died of coronavirus, because remember, some of these hospitals are writing up some shit just to write
yeah.
up some shit.
Oh yeah, I saw that BS.
What we know is a lot of the workforce, workforce were, they were considered, essential because they were a plumber.
Right.
They were doing these trades that required, just because, 90% of us were home.
Right.
If you were a bus driver, you still had to go to work.
Right.
If you were, if you were a plumber, you had to go to work. Like if you're a roofer, electrician.
Well-
so all the
Yep.
the workforce's demands are for more
Well,
of these type of
Job
workers.
versus office jobs, because now with the introduction of, and we knew this was coming many years ago, the introduction of artificial intelligence.
Well,
and-
Zoom allows a whole entire.
Oh, that's a whole different. I'm talking about like actually literally taking over. And you're not too far off that too with the Zoom, but that's for staying at home work. But the AI itself, they came to realize that I can program the artificial intelligence in the computer, even in the cloud, to do the work of 20 people. So I don't need 20 people doing the job of one machine, because the machine doesn't take breaks. All it needs to just be maintained. So it's cheaper for me to put out $60,000 a year to maintain, or whatever amount of money, than to pay 20 workers. You know, it might be the cost of 2 workers to maintain them. You know,
Maybe it costs 3 workers.
or 3 workers, right?
Yeah.
Depending on what you got and everything, and so that's why a lot of companies, they were like, oh, like in New York, where they, you know, some companies, they rent like 10, 20 floors, right? It might be all CMB or whatever, banks or mortgage or trade offices, whatever. Now they only need maybe 2 floors, you know. And then, like you said, with the Zoom,
Well, with Zoom is what
they don't
happened with Zoom is like a slight domino effect, but 2 different ways. A domino effect going this way, a domino effect going that way.
right?
When I say this is Zoom was a curse and a gift, a blessing and a
And
gift.
a curse at the same time.
You know, because it allowed companies to talk to anybody at any given time,
Right.
to have a meeting with 50 people or, you know, however Zoom allows you.
Oh yeah, but you know,
You can have a class
right.
with almost 30 people and I can stay in my own, I can stay in my home.
I got it.
I can have my own coffee. I can be in my boxers. And as long as I don't get up,
Right.
or I can have as long as I don't get up, and I know I don't have to get up, I can sit in my boxers and teach a whole class
Right.
and get paid the same amount of money versus if I was physically in there.
Believe it or not.
And
Okay.
so this is
Sorry.
back to the
Yeah.
so what's happening is these companies have become innovative to where instead of paying the lease on a building, you know, for a year, let's say, you know, if it's a corporate company, they're going to pay, let's say it could
Less
be
money.
a couple $100,000 a year for a building rent or to, you know, and taxes. They may own the building.
Right.
It might be cheaper for them to own it because they have such a big workforce.
Mm-hmm.
So now the fact that when you have, let's say you have 200 people and you cut down during the pandemic, you cut down
Mm-hmm.
to 80 people from 200.
Right.
That's almost half your workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And then now you only need half of them at home and half
Right.
of them at the office. What are you going to do with a building that
You have all that
fits 200
space.
people?
Yeah.
200 people.
You don't need it.
You don't need it no more.
I'm gonna
So you're
take-
not gonna pay the lease fees. So
Mm-hmm.
guess what? What happens? The building shuts down, and it stays. And
Well, you know,
they
a lot
don't
of
pay the rent.
companies decide they rather default on
they'll
on
rather
their, on the
default
lease.
on a lease,
and
those
two,
loans just get piled. You know, all
Piled
that
up.
dead money.
gets piled
So-
up. Because then, because what actually when they default on those leases, what the landlord has to do is, you know, take them to court, and they will, and they make a settlement to, you know, get that's not because they try to get out of their 10-year contracts. Some of them are going to keep their contracts just in case if something happens, depending on how many floors they got in some buildings. In some places, like my nephew, he works for a company. He works maybe there 2 days a week because they have meetings in the conference room, and then he works at home, and then he'll go back there Friday for a couple hours, and then
Yeah,
go back
so-
home.
so what's-
That's all they really needed for his conference room.
So what's happening is instead of having this building that's all this room, they
Mm-hmm.
go and, like you said, they'll forcibly default.
yeah,
Why? Because we're not going to pay this. We don't need this building, so we're not pay, we're losing this money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we're going to give it to
Oh,
you,
I got
we
to-
needed it in 19, and now in 24 we don't
Right.
need it. So now we're going to downsize, and we only need a small building
right.
instead of a big building.
Building.
So
Yeah.
that's what's happening in the economy.
And they're trying to sell the buildings. Even in I forget, it was either in Japan or China. There's some buildings that are like 20, 30 stories tall, maybe even 40.
What's China? What is
but-
China? China
But
builds
hold on.
whole towns and
Oh,
never-
yeah. Right.
never
But there's
fills
one
them
that's in their major city. This is not one of their ghost towns. I know what you're talking about. Those apartments and there's
Mm-hmm.
just nobody lives in them. They got like hundreds of thousands of homes and no one lives in them.
Well,
the ghost town.
they plan
But-
settlements there. Never,
Yeah, they never
they
did
never
it.
went through with it.
But in their main cities like Beijing, I think Saigon or something like that. Well, anyway, let's just take Beijing for instance, or something like that, or in Tokyo, Japan. There's some skyscrapers there that because of even over there, everybody's doing it from home or Zoom, not going to the office. There's a building, I forgot where it was, but I had to watch it again just because I thought I was just seeing something or hearing something. There's a building going for 13 cents, a whole skyscraper for 13 cents. But there's a big but in there.
Yeah, how much they pay?
No.
Taxes.
Not only the taxes, the debt.
Oh, see, it's not worth it.
The debt is $800 million.
Yeah.
So if anybody's willing to take off that debt, I forgot the name of their building, but it was 13 cents for the building. And I was like, wow, I'll buy that building for 13 cents. And then I went back to the video. Oh, yeah, $800 million debt. Never mind.
Well, what's going to happen is they're going to implode that building.
Yeah. Well, some buildings like in New York, what they're doing is they're trying to change the zoning laws and in New York to turn a lot of these apartment buildings,
These buildings
office into
apartments. Yeah.
The problem is that
They're not built enough. They're not tight. They're too tight.
No, it's too much space, really. And not that they're too tight, there's too much space. And they have to figure out how, because they have different regulations between office and residential. Like residential.
If you make it an apartment, they would have to be penthouses, and they would be.
Well, yeah, some of them would be like big apartments because in order for it to be residential, they have to have windows and certain rooms for lighting. For office buildings, it's not regulated like that. So they'll have to make them into like big, like you said, penthouses. But the thing is, even if they make them penthouses, they got to cut into the wall on the outside of the building and put in windows. If you ever watch it, like if you ever go, just like in Trenton, the old bell tower, they're going to make that into apartments. They had to cut into the side of the wall to make windows to make it regulated. Because
in New York, I think that they won't do that in New York.
Yeah, they said they will, depend on the company, they'll do it. And the city or the state, I think, is one of the give them incentives or something like that to do so because they did have a housing shortage there. But they also had to run more plumbing. Because remember, in the office building, like here, there's only 2 bathrooms.
There's only 1 or 2 bathrooms.
Now, if you make each room,
that's millions of dollars.
And a lot of the floors are concrete, like this one. So you got to drill through the concrete. You got to run new lines, electrical.
And we're only, 2, 3 floors here? We're only a couple floors?
Yeah.
In New York, you're talking about maybe
40, 50 floors.
60 floors.
Depending on the building.
Depending on the layout.
I think the lowest one is, depending on where you are in Manhattan, I think the lowest ones are probably maybe 8 floors at minimum. That's for a tiny building, small building. But like anything could be 8 or higher.
They could be huge.
Huge.
I mean, I've been up really high, in some floors. I don't know how many floors, but they go high. They go high. And
yeah.
I might not be correct on number, but like those buildings you can see like wow, like that's really
like
high.
Ants.
Yeah, it's really high, and. More than likely, that's what they're going to do with some of these buildings. Is create living space.
Yeah, because and I'm telling you, even San Francisco, you can get some buildings are going for 10 cents on a dollar, but nobody wants to live in San Francisco anymore because of the crime. Like somebody could just come into your store and steal $1,000 and not face any punishment or repercussions for it. And
what they have to do is.
Yeah. Same thing like in New York.
2020, everybody was crying, defund the police.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now you got that. Now you're crying. Now you're crying that there's too much.
Yeah.
There's too much crime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, me, I just want law and order.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when something happens, what are you going to do? You're going to call an ambulance or the police.
Yeah.
You got to live with it. That's at the end of the day. This is true. This is life.
Yeah. You need law and order.
We need law and order.
Even in the Bible, we have law and order.
Exactly. If we don't have law and order, what's happening
Chaos.
in California? People are running.
Look at New York.
People are running through stores, just walking in the broad daylight and just taking the whole not just one piece of body clothing. They're taking the whole entire rack.
Yep.
They're taking
Stuffing it in the
everything.
bag, plastic bags.
Just no, like trash bags. They're just
that's what I mean.
dumping in trash bags and just walking out like this. And they're not just one person, two people. You're talking about a pack of 10 people emptying out a store in 5 minutes.
Right.
Or going in there and taking all the sneakers. You know, sneakers is hard because, you know, you only get the one side, the one shoe,
Right.
And for security purposes, they keep the other in the back, which is smart. It's always been. But with shirts, clothing, you know, they're just wrapping. You know, they're sometimes if it's jewelry, they're just hitting a smash and grab. You know, if it's pills. You know, you see that CVS. They're taking shavings. They don't shavers. They don't care what it is.
I gotta tell you this. This is the most BS thing I ever saw in California. I think it was in San Francisco. Like you said about the jewelry. A jewelry owner, and it might be on YouTube. So anyway, out there, you could check this out. I believe had a gun because he was getting robbed. So he started shooting at the robbers. You know, the DA is prosecuting the guy for protecting his property versus.
I've read something like that. Yeah. I think it's nonsense. I mean, I think.
You know,
I think that's a little nonsense to do something like that. You know.
So you're allowing them to rob them, but you can't protect your own property. I was like, what kind of crap is that?
Yeah, you prosecuting the person who is defending themselves against a crime.
Crime, right?
Is
being committed.
You are essentially breaking the fabric of the United States and what we believe in.
Right.
You know, it's right to bear arms. You know, protect yourself and
your property.
And your property. You know, the very fabric of this country. You know, you're arresting and you're prosecuting a person that just to stand. You know, what are you gonna do? Oh, come and rob me?
Yeah.
Listen, you gotta.
You might
gotta
just leave the store open all night then.
Correct.
One thing I like that I'm seeing, and it just started, I think last week, that New York actually started arresting people, and they're not getting bail all of a sudden. Like the one guy, he pushed his girlfriend on the railroad tracks on the 3 train line. I believe the number 3 train line in the subway on Fulton Street in Manhattan side. The train ran over the girl's legs, so I think she had 1 or 2 of her feet amputated. And they actually caught the guy, and the guy is going to do 25 years without bail. But here's the irony of it: he was let go from another crime, and this was even devious. Next to this one, he broke into an apartment to an acquaintance, and stabbed her, and threatened to kill her. And he took her 1 or 2 year old at the time. This was, I think, 2017. I think it was either 2016, 2017. And he took the baby and dangled the baby out the window from the 3rd floor or something like that of the apartment building. And he was going to drop the baby. The police arrested him, but he only got 6 years. So he just got out last year and went out and dated this girl. I'm not sure if the woman knew of his background or not. And you know, I can't tell because he didn't speak or anything, so I didn't understand. I don't know if he was illegal or not. I'll admit he looks like one of those illegals. And they let him go, and he's going to get 25 years. I mean, personally, I think he should have got 50. He should not even be let back on the streets. He looked like he's probably in his 20s or 30s. He should just rock.
You heard about it illegal, right? Illegal in New York shot he was about 16 years old. He shot a cop.
Yeah, I saw that in Times Square.
They arrested his ass.
Yeah.
And you hear about the illegal.
Oh, yeah, and the mom was crying like, what did he do?
Jumping the cops and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. They're finally cracking down on them because now, but it's not enough, stuff that they're trying to do now, because the Alan Bragg has been getting a lot of heat.
Yeah, salute.
Yeah,
on immigration, this country's
I'm not
built,
against
this,
it.
This country's built on immigration. This country's very, very core and the heart and soul of what makes America. It's what.
Excuse me.
Everybody, God bless you again. What built America? Who, the people from all different walks of life built America. And, you I hear wonderful stories of how people came through Ellis Island, and you could trace back all your, you go back there to the museum, and you can see all your, your lineage and all your, your ancestors. Well, what's going on is people are coming in undocumented. We don't, the biggest thing what's going on is if you remember the movie Scarface, okay? The movie Scarface in the beginning.
I gotta go back there because we got a few more minutes.
Yes, in the beginning of the movie Scarface, it started talking about, the release of all the what was the word? The refugees, the asylum seekers, the political asylum seekers, people fleeing from Cuba because Fidel Castro regime was very, very, it was harsh. It was, you couldn't do any, if you were a certain gender and, or if you did this or did that, you weren't liked, you were frowned upon, you were thrown in jail. It was a dictatorship back in the day. Fidel Castro didn't play. You're talking about late 70s, early 80s, and Fidel Castro released a lot of people to say, hey, we don't want them. And so America sent boats to go get them and, brought them back. But when we sent boats to go get them, Fidel's only word was, hey, if I'm going to give you all these people, if you're taking these people, you got to take these people. And so we went to go, let's say, just argument's sake, I don't know the number. I don't know the number off top. Don't quote me. If we were going to go there for 5,000 people, we ended up coming back with 10,000. More the double the number, or more than the number. I'm pretty sure it was a lot more than that. So what Fidel Castro achieved is by sending all his political asylum seekers, he was just sending his desirables, the undesirables that he didn't want. If you were a prisoner, if you were gay, if you were, something with a mental handicap, or you were physically disabled, he sent you. If you were mentally disabled, he sent you. If you were a criminal, he sent you. So what's going on now is this is what we're getting. We're getting everybody's worst. We're getting everybody's worst of the worst, and it's not just South America. When people coming through the Mexican border, everybody's, oh, it's all the Mexicans. It's not the Mexicans. It's not the Mexicans. Some of the Mexicans, not coming here. It's everybody in the world that wants to come here. You got immigrants from China. You got immigrants from South America, Venezuela. People escaping very, very, very dire situations, and nobody's saying that people can't come. You're seeking asylum. Of course, if you're legitimately coming for a better life, come, please come. But if you're a criminal and you're coming here, like you're jumping the cops, shooting the cops, I mean, you are what you bring here. When you come here, you represent, who you are and what your culture is and who you come from and what country you represent. So when you do something out in the streets, you're giving you're giving your people a bad name, and it's not nothing about, it's not nothing racist about saying that. Listen, I'm minority, I'm Latin, I'm Latino, I'm Puerto Rican, and I say this: when you come here legit, because if you come here with ill intentions, and you put a bad mark, or you put your culture, your nationality, or your country on notice. These people this or these people that. stay away from them. Stay from these people. This is this type of stuff, criminality, the stuff that they do. Just come here. Listen, you're probably not going to watch the video anyway. But I'm just making sense. The only way America is going to succeed is if we all succeed. If we all want to succeed, we can't have immigrants running lawlessness in New York, and the government and the cops, they're just sometimes they just turn a blind eye. I mean, remember the governments who put them up here, they brought them here. I don't know what they bring. They're bringing them here for votes. I don't know what they're bringing them here. Legitimately, people from all different walks of the world. If you're a asylum seeker, political seeker, asylum seeker, nobody says you can't come. Nobody definitely says you can't come. It's just you just gotta understand. You gotta come here correct. We all gotta live in this country too. But this is a wrap. This was different topics tonight. We decided to talk about different things. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you. If you like our videos, or if you like my videos, you have somebody to interview, let me know. I'll reach out and I'll talk to them. I'm Ralph Rodden, also known as DJ Noise. This is In My Circle. Peace. We're out.